Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. So today we're sitting down to have a chat with you guys about how to get started with gut healing.
So we've spoken about gut healing many times before on our channel because it is so important for virtually every area of health, whether you're after glowing skin or shifting some stubborn weight, or if you just want more energy and to feel better in your body. So we'll link below other previous videos and blog posts where we've talked about gut health, but today's video is really just about how you can get started because there are a lot of moving parts when it comes to gut health and it can get very confusing. So we get so many questions about literally just what do I do next? So today's video is all about that, really just how to get the process kicked off.
So to make this really easy and actionable for you guys, we've actually paired this with a detailed post that is talking about all the topics that we're talking about today. And we've also included a beginner's guide to healing your gut. So that includes diet, lifestyle, and supplement tips. And with the guide, we've also included a 1-week meal plan just to make it super practical for you guys, so you can see how it all looks in the beginning stages.
And this is all something that you can download. So the beginner's guide and that meal plan are easy, they're totally free to download from the blog. So we'll have that linked up below. And if you have a look at it as well, don't fear, this is not the diet that you'll need to be on forever and ever. It is like the very beginning stages. When you're in that more acute stage, or if you feel like you really need that reboot, this is where you would start. So it really is like the beginning stage.
Yeah. And adding to that, you know, gut healing is a long process. So this is just the first week.
Yeah. Before we get started with this video, we also want to mention that we are hosting a free webinar on the 20th of April. So if you're interested in knowing more about gut health, we're going to be diving into further detail on how to get started, and we'll also be getting into the nitty-gritty of why we will avoid certain foods when we're healing the gut, and more on how you can get started. There'll also be a live Q&A, so if you have questions, we can answer those live for you. If you want more details and you're interested in registering for that webinar, then we'll have the link for that also in the description box. Okay, so we'll get started with this video.
So the first thing that you'll want to do when you're looking to heal your gut is eliminate inflammatory foods. So when we're talking about inflammatory foods, we have got our top 6. So those include gluten, refined sugar, dairy, seed oils, grains and legumes, and alcohol. So these are just the core 6 foods that you're going to want to focus on in the beginning, especially if you're coming from a really processed, standard Western diet. So all of these foods really play into inflammation and contribute to that dysbiosis in our gut. So eliminating these foods really is core to getting your gut health back on track, and we really can't stress enough just how essential it is that you eliminate these foods, at least for a period of time for some of them. Things like alcohol, we have a drink now and again, but in the gut healing process, you do want to be eliminating alcohol for a period of time.
Especially when you first get started, you need to give it a good break, because anything else that you do to try and heal and restore your gut health is just really going to be negated by the fact that you're still putting this inflammation in. And we also wanted to mention that there are many other food sensitivities that can crop up when we have gut issues. And that's really individual to each person. So over time you may find in your journey that there are other things that you need to avoid for a period of time. But we really want to highlight that these 6 are pretty much across the board something that you should take out of the diet. And also on dairy, we've spoken about how unprocessed dairy can be beneficial for a lot of people. And we still stand by that, but for gut healing, it can be really beneficial to take dairy out as well, because when we have leaky gut and dysbiosis, it's really common for our immune system to attack dairy proteins. So for many of us, dairy just has to be out, and if you're not sure, you can just take it out for 30 days and see. So our second point when healing the gut is to prepare some easy to digest meals. So we just spoke about the things that we don't want to include in our diet, but now we're going to go into some of the things that we are going to include. So easy to digest meals include things like broths, soups, stews, and other slow-cooked meats and proteins. We have done a couple of soup recipes not too long ago. So we had a pumpkin soup and a gut healing chicken soup, which we'll link below. And some other really healthy and easy to digest foods would be organ meats, if you tolerate the taste of those.
And they're very nutrient dense as well.
And also soluble fibers, so those easier to digest vegetables like pumpkin, sweet potato, what else? Carrots, beetroot, Those are really great for healing the gut because they're easy to digest and they don't abrade the gut wall.
So on the flip side, we also have a few foods that we want to avoid. So these are foods that are a little bit more difficult to digest, and this is not at all to say that these foods are unhealthy. It's just that when we're looking at really healing the gut, we want to be avoiding these ones for a period of time or limiting them. So that includes things like cold foods, foods that are high in insoluble fiber, so that kind of more like scratchy fiber, so things like broccoli and cauliflower. Even though those foods are totally healthy, they can be a little bit abrasive on the gut when we're trying to heal it. And then raw foods in general, so things like cold smoothies, cold salads, they're at the same time, yeah, they can be healthy if your gut is working well, but
they're quite difficult for an inflamed gut to work with.
Yeah. So
and then if you're like looking at raw like cabbage or raw broccoli, like that would be a definite no-no.
Yeah. So when you think about it, you know, heating foods really breaks down all those cell walls and makes it easier for all the nutrients to be absorbed.
So you really need to give your gut a helping hand.
Yeah. Break it down first with some cooking.
Yeah.
So it can also be really helpful during this time to incorporate some digestive support. So when we're talking about this, we are talking about betaine HCl and digestive enzymes. So these supplements can really just help you to break down your food so that it's easier to absorb, easier to take the nutrition out.
Because it's so common for any of us with gut issues to have like low stomach acid or low enzyme production, because once you have damage on the gut wall, it's kind of like that cascade and a loop that keeps feeding.
Yeah, and usually actually these issues can kind of come back to the fact that a lot of people have lower stomach acid, so when things aren't being broken down properly, they're passing into that small intestine, fermenting, and we have
providing food for pathogenic bacteria, and then, you know, creating the cycle again of then low stomach acid. So it can really help to break the cycle at the top of your digestive tract, I suppose you'd say. And if you're a little nervous to try betaine HCl, we would urge you to give it a shot because it's really not anything to be worried about. I was a little bit funny about it the first time I took it. I thought, oh my god, I'm putting like hydrochloric acid in
down my throat.
But you know that the stomach is an acidic environment, and it really just helps so much to get that better digestion starting from the stomach and then all the way down.
So if you suffer from things like bloating, you'll likely see some good results by adding in some betaine HCl and the enzymes.
So while we're helping our digestive system to really break down nutrients, a really soothing thing to add into your regime is a heaped tablespoon of gelatin with all of your broths and soups and stews. So we like the one by Vital Proteins, and the other one that's really good is Great Lakes. So those are both available pretty much everywhere. I think you can buy them on Amazon and iHerb. That's where I get them. But yeah, that is super soothing to your digestive system, really high in proline and glycine, which are amino acids that help to bring down inflammation and rebuild that gut wall. So you definitely want to get as much gelatin into your foods as possible. So those would be our real priorities. So when we're getting started with the gut healing process, it's really important not to ignore lifestyle changes. They are really huge when it comes to kickstarting that healing process. So the first one that we wanted to mention is that you really need to prioritize sleep and get enough sleep. So that would be 7 to 8 hours every night at least, and making sure that you have a really deep and restful sleep. So minimizing your blue light exposure, having a really nice evening routine, you know, really setting up for a natural sleep. You'd also want to do some light exercise. So if you're really into heavy exercise or endurance sports, we would probably recommend dialing it back for a bit, at least when you get started with gut healing. So, you know, things just like walking and gentle yoga can be really great for, you know, stimulating that detox that's going to be happening when you take all these different foods out. And it really helps for your stress as well if you can exercise outdoors.
So while we're on the topic of detox, because exercise is actually really great for stimulating detox as well, but you could also look at doing dry body brushing. So dry body brushing is really great for stimulating our lymphatic flow. Stimulating our lymphatic flow is really important for helping the body to remove toxins, and then at the same time you could also be doing things like Epsom salt baths. So we've talked a bit about this before as well. So Epsom salt baths are really great for stimulating the sulfation pathway in our liver. So this helps to detoxify certain things, especially if you have skin conditions. It can be really beneficial.
Yeah, it's really helpful for people who have intolerances and things relating to skin rashes. I've spoken about this in some of my other videos on eczema. If you suffer from eczema, definitely look into Epsom salt baths. But anyone who's starting the gut healing process, it helps so much to stimulate that detox process and just give your body a help.
Yeah.
And it's relaxing too. And you need to relax when you start this whole process, because it is a big shift and it does stimulate a lot of changes in the body. You know, it's like a real shift in the gut microflora, and you can have like a real die-off of certain pathogenic you know, bacteria and yeast. So anything that you can do to help your body detox is really good.
Okay guys, so those were all of our tips for getting started with the gut healing journey. So if you wanted to grab our full guide and the 1 week plan, you can jump on over to our blog and we will leave the link in the down bar.
And if you're interested in registering for our free class, so the free webinar that we mentioned earlier, just visit the registration link below and it has all the details there. And other than that, if you enjoyed this video, please leave it a thumbs up. If you have any questions for us, leave it in the comments below, and we'll see you in our next video.
Bye guys.
Bye.